A wealthy man with a deep hatred for women imprisons his employee. Little does he know that his captive is determined to beat him at his own game. In a car, Gita applies cream to the wounds on her thighs. She complains that the man driving the vehicle has truly hurt her this time. Without acknowledging this, her client just writes a check and hands it to her before she exits the car. As soon as the car leaves, the woman crosses to the other side of the road where a white car awaits her. On another day, a man with an eye patch paces the lobby of a building. He then scrutinizes a statue adorned with gold lettering and discreetly pilfers one of the gold letters. Shortly after, more men enter the room. So he approaches the one at the back of the line, Dr. Sayer, the director of the firm where he works. Dr. Sayer informs the other man that the executive committee has ruled against him, indicating that they're relieving him of his position. The troubled man contends that the committee should consider his standing with the firm and asserts that he can reimburse the amount he appropriated within a year. However, Dr. Sayer counters that their foundation can't retain a manager who embezzled $100,000 of its funds. Despite the man's pleas for an appeal, Dr. Sayer asserts that the decision is irreversible. He suggests that the man should consider himself fortunate they're not pressing charges to avoid a scandal. After Dr. Sayer leaves, the eye-patched man wanders through the corridors until he spots Maria at her desk, seemingly busy with paperwork. In a large house, Gita explains to someone on the phone that she can't meet him because she's unwell from a liver attack. However, this is only a lie as she's actually enjoying her time being pampered in the luxurious house. Meanwhile, Maria enters Dr. Sayer's office, though the man doesn't recognize her. She introduces herself as a publicist who's been working in his firm for a month. She is currently writing an article about the sterilization of men, so she requests the specialist's journals from the director. Dr. Sayer mentions that he has them at home, so the woman suggests letting her pick them up. He insists he'll bring the journals on Monday, but the woman persists as she desires to complete the article over the weekend. The man wonders why she'd spend her weekend writing the article, so Maria claims that she prefers working when no one can bother her. Still, he wonders if she supports or is against prohibiting men from having more children. Maria shares that if the man already has 2 or 3 offspring, then limiting them would be ideal since women shouldn't bear the sole responsibility for taking precautions. However, the director asserts that women's way to prevent conception is harmless, whereas sterilization is permanent, thus it's barbaric. He thinks that men should undergo less intrusive procedures that don't minimize their potential since maintaining their fertility is essential. Hearing this, Maria relents and assures her employer that she'll write the article according to his perspective. This grants her permission to go to his house and pick up the journal she requires. As she exits the director's office with a small smile, the eye-patched man passes by Maria. He looks back at her curiously, seemingly captivated by her beauty. Later that day, Maria is amazed at the paintings adorning the walls of Dr. Sayer's house. Sensing her curiosity, the man explains that they depict microscopic slides of bacteria and protozoa. She proceeds to admire his collection of daggers while the man hands her a drink. As he showcases one of his prized daggers, the woman suddenly drops her drink and collapses. Having planned this, the man takes the unconscious Maria to a secret place. In a room illuminated by a red light, the woman soon finds herself bound with cuffs while Dr. Sayer merely watches her with interest. She pleads with him to release her, but the man insists that she looks perfect in her restrained state, calling it feminine. Because of this, Maria calls him mad, but her captor argues that women are the fools for plotting to attain self-sufficiency. He then accuses women of orchestrating the collection of specimens from the healthiest and most intelligent men. This genetic material is then preserved so that, in the future, women can select a child based on their preferred DNA. He believes that women seek to eliminate men from the fertilization process and seize control of the world. Disregarding this, Maria pleads for her freedom, but Dr. Sayer only unsheathes his dagger and taunts her with it. Focusing the dagger's point on her stomach, he explains that soon, women won't have to see their stomach swollen as they only need to fertilize the egg and then transfer it to a machine that would continue the process for them. With the man tracing the blade on her skin, Maria cries. However, the man continues to say that female rabbits have already learned how to reproduce on their own. If women discovered how to do this, they'd eliminate men from the world. Suddenly, Maria loses consciousness, seemingly due to fright. Confused, The man uncuffs her before exiting the room. As soon as he leaves, Maria, who was only pretending to faint, begins searching for an escape route. Upon finding a hidden door, she quietly makes her way through a room where a speaker plays a study on how intimate desires are connected to the constellations. Maria finally discovers an exit and sprints through a dark road. Just as she reaches the gates, however, Dr. Sayer appears in his car and chases her back to his lair. Back in Dr. Sayer's dungeon, Maria finds her prison now furnished with instruments for pain, including a small podium with handcuffs affixed to its side and meat hooks. Meanwhile, Dr. Sayer completes his workout and readies himself for bed. He then presses a button that elevates the wall beside him, revealing a surprised Maria on her bed on the other side. The man then initiates intimacy with her, and oddly, his captive accepts his touches. To her surprise, however, the man presents her with a dummy that resembles him. He orders her to show her desire to the mannequin, and Maria has no choice but to obey. Dr. Sayer declares that, unlike real men, mannequins can't be consumed by a woman. With that, he closes the wall between them, trapping Maria with her inanimate companion. The following day, the man starts to treat Maria as his servant. He makes her carry his bathrobe and massage his feet. At mealtime, he eats while the woman watches with a tape over her mouth. Pleading to be released, Maria questions why he chose her. The man clarifies that she only happened to be in his house when he needed someone for the weekend. She replaced a victim who couldn't make it at the last minute because of a liver attack. Maria realizes it's too early for him to end her life since he intends to derive pleasure from the situation. She expresses her disgust for him, asking how many women he's harmed and killed before. Ignoring her concerns, Dr. Sayer orders her to retrieve a cigarette from the drawer behind him. The woman obeys and discovers a knife in the same drawer. She seizes it and attempts to stab her captor. However, Dr. Sayer evades, takes the knife and stabs it into his chair to show her that it's a fake. Upon learning about this, the woman relentlessly slaps him until his nose bleeds. In response, he hoses the woman down in an empty pool, claiming that she needs to cool off. Afterward, he takes photos of the broken Maria, enjoying seeing her in her predicament. Even when she falls to the floor, Dr. Sayer proudly steps on her back and poses for a photo. That night, the woman awakens to the sound of screams as her captor shows her images of his previous captives and what he'd done to them. After the presentation, the man admits that he derives pleasure from her terror. He taunts her by describing the physiological responses of a body experiencing fear. Bottling her fear, Maria switches tactics in hopes of escaping. She questions how many women he's killed, and he calmly replies that he's lost count because he takes their lives at the moment of his intense physical satisfaction. Maria attempts to reason with him and urges him to stop his cruel actions while there's still time. She warns him that he can get away with his wrongdoings for now, but he can't go on with them. Eventually, he'll grow tired of it and won't experience the same thrills. Emphasizing his attractiveness, wealth, and intelligence, Maria tries to convince him that he doesn't need to harm and kill women for satisfaction, as he can have any woman he desires. She continues that there are other ways to get the same satisfaction, like liking a woman in a special way. The man believes she's only saying these to escape. However, she insists that she genuinely wants to help him become better. Maria stresses that the answer lies in freeing himself of her fears and having faith in his own virility. She describes what it would feel like to dominate a woman with superior strength. With this in mind, she pretends to be a woman in love while Dr. Sayer leans in for a kiss. However, he abruptly stops and notes that being a romantic lady doesn't suit her. Instead, he thinks being close to the afterlife would better fit her character. The following day, Maria dances in a room clad in a revealing costume while her captor watches behind the glass walls. She dances sensually, even drinking as if genuinely enjoying herself. This lures her captor, so he enters the room where Maria seduces him. She attempts to get close to him, yet the man only binds her hands. Dr. Sayer brings the woman to another room where he presents a suspended mannequin as if warning her that it'll be her future. Fearful of experiencing this, she pleads for him not to do it to her, so he assures her that he won't subject her to it just yet as he has other plans. Later that day, the man plays the piano with Maria, now dressed in conservative clothes. She plays the piano next upon his request while her captor appreciates her body. The woman finds pleasure in this and reciprocates with a kiss. He kisses her back but eventually pushes her away and punishes her for seducing him. The man proceeds to bind her to the stone podium. where he cuts her hair. He then attempts to stab her but finds himself unable to follow through. Instead, he releases her before exiting the room. After a while, he checks on Maria but finds her unconscious with an empty bottle beside her. Panicking, he rushes to her aid and helps her expel the medicine she took. Moments later, the woman lies on the bed as Dr. Sayer massages her feet. He reassures her that it's over and he won't harm her anymore. The man confesses that he never killed anyone and that the photographs were all staged with the women paid for their participation. These women only kept him company during weekends to help satisfy his desires. Revealing that Maria is the first woman he ever kidnapped, he admits to feeling excited during the act as it was the first time his fiction turned into reality. However, when he held the scissors up to kill her, he was unable to bring himself to do it. Moved by his accounts, the woman brings him closer for a kiss. This confession leads the captor and captive to become a happy couple the following day. They share a shower, playfully dance, kiss, and laugh together. Afterward, they venture into a field with green grass and flowers. They run around like children, chasing each other and throwing themselves on the grassy ground. Maria captures a series of photos of Dr. Sayer engaging in silly activities, even lifting a pair of metal wagon wheels for the photo. The man then begins unbuttoning Maria's shirt, but she stops him, refusing to engage in such activities out in the open. Instead, she runs toward the tall grass with him playfully chasing after her. Maria runs tirelessly while the man struggles to catch his breath. However, he begins to panic when he is unable to see her, only to discover she's just a few feet away from him, staring. When he reaches her, the two lay together on the grass. This time, Maria touches her new lover, only for her to run off when he gets enticed. After enjoying their time in the fields, they drive to a restaurant where Dr. Sayer is a regular. In the middle of their journey, they stop at a train crossing where Maria satisfies the man until the car behind them blows its horn. While traveling, Dr. Sayer explains how female scorpions often eat the male after mating. He witnessed this firsthand when he was young. Because of confusion about what he'd seen, his father had to explain what happened with the scorpions. This fact angered him, so he picked up a rock and killed the female scorpion in contempt. This trauma shaped his view of intimacy, thinking that the female would devour the male. Moments later, they arrive at a castle where the restaurant is. However, due to Maria's wishes, they choose to explore the place first. So Dr. Sayer shows her a secret door that leads to a room. Amazed, the woman lays down on the bed, where the man joins her and initiates a kiss. Shortly after, they're interrupted when another man walks in. They immediately fix themselves and explain that they're lost, though the man glances at the unmade bed, indicating that he knows what exactly happened. To break the awkward silence, Dr. Sayer asks where the restaurant is. Upon reaching the place, they sit at a table where Maria picks up a cat. She shares how they always approach her, describing them as beautiful and gentle, though they tend to scratch people at some point. While petting the cat, Maria uses her sensual voice to tell a story of how a cat fell in love with her when she was little. In the middle of her narrative, she gives pleasure to Dr. Sayer under the table. When the waiter arrives, Dr. Sayer covers his face with a menu to conceal his reactions. They then share the food joyfully like a real couple. Returning to Dr. Sayer's place, Maria swims in the pool while the man paces by the poolside. She calls out to him, urging him to join her in the pool, yet he remains unresponsive. In an attempt to entice him, the woman takes her top off. He stares at her, and the memories of their time together flash through his mind, particularly when he allowed himself to be vulnerable around her. Embracing Maria's earlier advice to have faith in his virility, Dr. Sayer decides to let go of his fixation and dives into the pool. In the water, he and Maria share a passionate kiss, their connection suggesting an imminent intimacy. Unexpectedly, he submerges beneath the surface, and shortly after that, his lifeless body floats in the water. Maria calmly gets out of the pool and gazes at his lifeless body while smiling. She then removes her wig, revealing her undamaged hair. Inside the house, Maria collects the camera's film and the medicine from her pillowcase where she hid them. Contrary to Dr. Sayer's belief, she never took them that night and only staged the scene to control him. Moments later in her white car, Gita receives a check from Maria to reimburse her for losing one of her clients. Maria had apparently planned everything to trap Dr. Sayer, and she reminds Gita that she doesn't have to endure humiliation and harm from men like him. Instead, she encourages the woman to turn the tables and destroy those who seek to belittle her, just as Maria did. Soon after, Maria returns to her opulent home where one of her staff hands her an envelope of the photographs she took of Dr. Sayer. She selects one and places it in an album alongside pictures of various men, all her victims, with the last one being the eye-patched man.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.